We will be free! For when the rising tide is turned in every London quarter, Parliament comes crashing down with Robert's Rules of Order!
Okay. Alrighty.
Yeah, because I'm on the even days. Remember I was inaugurated last one?
Okay. All right. We're ready. We are ready. It's the 22nd, and I am a beer and a half in. Are you ready for the drunken question, Mr. Seebeck?
Well, I'll see what I can do.
Perfect. Just don't need to put a lampshade on your head. When
I left the lampshade at home.
that would have been good.
And yes, folks, it is tie-dye.
And I did buy it for
Yes,
you.
she found it for me.
Okay, question. While members are speaking in debate, the presiding officer should, number 1, be seated unless the view between him and the members would be obstructed. B, be inattentive to the speaker's remarks. C, remain standing. Or D, interrupt the speaker because he knows more about the matter.
Well, we know it ain't B, although that happens a lot.
Yeah, not supposed to, but...
We know it's not D, although that happens too much also. So that leaves the first and the third one. A was what again?
Be seated unless the view between him and the members would be obstructed.
Okay.
And C is remain standing.
Well, the way that we tend to structure our convention, C happens all the time. That happens when we're on the podium. But normally, because we have people at microphones versus up on the podium, we go with A. Because usually the chair is not, or the presiding officer is at the podium up top, and they're not obstructing the view or a view of the person who's speaking, because they're usually down on the floor. But if they are up on the podium, the chair steps aside anyway.
Right. So your answer is...
Okay, rattle them off one more time. A and C one more time.
A is be seated unless the view between him and the members would be obstructed. Or C, remain standing.
I'm going to go with A.
You are correct. Even though in our convention it tends to be C because of the way...
Well, yeah, because of the way the floor is structured.
But typically, yeah, they would sit down. The presiding officer generally standing when they're doing
when they're talking, yeah.
But let's see what the references tell us.
It's such a ripoff, isn't it?
What? It's very satisfying. There you go.
Especially made for the napkin. No.
No.
Well, that's
451.
That's what you pointed at.
I didn't know you were that. I'll just, here you go. 451, 19 through 22, which is under officers.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it just basically...
Restated the thing, yeah. While a member is speaking in debate of any question, the presiding officer should remain seated unless the view between him and the members would be obstructed, in which case he's a step back slightly and during the member's speech.
His fat ass was in my way.
Now, the reason why they do that is that even though the person is speaking, they do not have the gavel.
Right.
So if a point of order, a motion, or whatever is made, then the presiding officer has to have the ability to step back to the microphone and address that as according. The person speaking is just presenting something.
And I would say even at our convention, Nick does do that. When someone's speaking, he steps back a couple steps. Mm-hmm. So that keeps the...
Oh, in times past, when I've been presenting committee reports up there, I will step back from the microphone a half a step while people are debating things anyway. And then if I have to answer a question, I can do that, but there's the chair access to the mic if they need it.
Right.
So. And
it's something... This raises it, since this was this kind of a simple question, an interesting thing with our conventions that we kind of do wrong that I'm wondering if they could fix. I'm going to bring it up to the convention committee. We only have one podium up there. Mm-hmm. And so when the bylaws chair of the platform chair is doing their report, they're taking the chair's podium.
Right.
And they should never do that. Mm-hmm. There should be a separate podium for the committee person, and Nick should always, or whoever the chair is, should always be at their podium. And I think that it also gets kind of awkward because there's times where something goes on and I'm like looking back at the table, and I remember last convention.
Well, okay, I can't speak for the national one, but because if I remember correctly, in New Orleans...
We put two at the last...
At New Orleans?
No, at our last Colorado one, I had the two podiums.
Yeah, because I remember presenting the bylaws committee.
And you were off to the right, and we had the chair one still over to the
I
left.
thought it was the one in the center, but because what you can do, because the way we line up is we have the board lined up here, and then you have the podiums in front
Right.
of that. Is that what you could do is take like a table podium instead of a full one,
Right.
and stick that right in front of the chair seat,
Right.
and then they're right there all the time, and then the other one is available for
Yeah,
the
we
rest of it.
we put 2 up this time.
I vaguely don't remember that, but okay.
Yeah, because of that
Yeah.
whole thing, so that the chair could still be there and make
Yeah.
rulings.
Right.
And also when people were coming up to give speeches, like in favor of their nominations, if you remember when we went up to talk on behalf of ourselves for platform, we went on that one on the far right, and the chair was still there on the one on the left.
Because when I presented the bylaws, I was on the left.
I thought you were on the right. I'm visualizing you.
I was on the left because
Okay, wait a minute.
When
I'm
you
talking
look-
about facing. When
facing the crowd.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
you were on the right.
I was on the left.
No, you
because
were-
I was sitting over here and I came up
No,
over
no,
here
you were on
because
the
the parliamentarian was behind me to the right.
You're on the right.
I'm pretty sure.
No, I'm pretty sure you were on the right. We're gonna need to find some of these pictures because I'm pretty sure I'm right.
In any case,
We're gonna have to find something to bet. I can't think of anything right this moment, but
I was on the left. You were on the right. No. This is the type of things we fight about sometimes.
yeah, well, you got
But you know what? It's all good.
It's all good, and I'm right usually. Okay. That's it for today. We will move on to the next day.
Cheers.
Cheers. And, take a real drink now. There you go.
Viva! Let's hear the opposition side. Like a stubborn donkey's bray. All opposed? You say nay. Opposed! Opposed! The motion carries anyway.